Welcome, everybody. This is the It's Justify the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched, and deplorable to end all deplorables, two white heterosexual Christian males from the American South who talk about philosophy, health, fitness, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill, and my co-host, Tank, is not here today. So sorry about that. And sorry about the late start as well. It was a little late running on getting the show together. But guys, we are here, so crack open a beer. Because the ends always justify the memes. Hope everyone is having a great Wednesday. Assalamu alaikum. Going to drink a couple brewskis on the show today. Don't know how long it'll be. I have a lot of memes, guys, but it's me solo. I don't have to get out of here anytime soon. And I can rush through and push through the show as much as I want without having to worry about, cutting off other people, right? So I hope you guys are ready to have fun. I did get some Lafroig earlier. I was going to drink some scotch on the show with Tank. And then I realized, I think he told me last week he wasn't going to be on. Then I forgot to get a sub. So I don't think he's here next week either. I'll have to check with him. It's been busy, guys. Been very busy. Hopefully, I know I keep saying it. Hopefully, we'll get some more consistency. I had to have a long conversation with my wife the other day about, allowing me the time to stream. So work's been an interference as well. So, such is life. But that's pretty much that. Before we get into the Memecast news, guys, hey, if you're new here, hit that little subscribe button, hit that like button, all those things. Also, though, there are links in the descriptions. We aren't just streaming on YouTube. We stream on Rumble and Entropy as well as DLive. Rumble and Entropy, you can send us paid chats. Entropy has a chat where the existence of it disappears. It's a completely free speech site. You can say all of your dirty thoughts over there, and it will not be recorded for all of posterity. So go over there if you would like. If you'd like to send a donation, or give me what is a Rumble, whatever they call it, Rumble rant. Is that what it is? I don't know. I haven't. Although I am monetized there, I have not gotten anything there yet. Not too many people go over there to watch. Anyways, without further ado, let's do. Well, hold on. This is how discombobulated I am. Should have my memes up first, right? All right. Such is life, guys. Such is life. There's nothing better than doing a show by yourself and having dead silence. All right, let me get the screen shareage. All right, now, without further ado, we'll do the Beamcast news. All right, you are leaving California. Welcome back to the United States. I wish. California most certainly seems to be the thought leader in all of these things and all these things that have been pushed for a long time. I know when I worked in law enforcement, that was literally what they would suggest they would follow in Maryland. The court systems out in California and the policing practices. So if you wonder why, California seems to influence so many things, it's because we have so many weak and feckless leaders who just go along with the most progressive state that they can find. All right. Sorry, guys, I had to upload some videos. Literally went right into the stream after I got things organized. And, it's just me showing up every day with fresh memes harvested from exotic lands to entertain all the ungrateful peasants. But I enjoy entertaining you plebs. I like this. It's a good time. It certainly allows me to to have a lot more fun than on my other show. Of course, I have fun there, but I want to be a lot more serious here. We just get to make fun of everybody, right? Everyone wants to be liked and accepted, except memers. Memers don't give a shit. Yeah, kind of. It's like, why would I care when I see the world as dying and horrible and repugnant? Why would I care what those people would judge me as? And of course, with that, there are new memes coming out every day, and I think we ought to make this one a real thing, right? Accidentally used a counterfeit 20 at the store. Call that a Freudian slip. Very much like it. Very much. And of course, guys, I'm not the racist for saying that. They're just jokes. We just have fun here. We have a good time. We're all about uniting the world's peoples in peace, just not under one government.
Our differences. We got to celebrate our differences.
Ooga booga doo, ooga booga doo.
We got to celebrate our differences.
Nacho taco, chimichanga.
Cause it's beautiful when the whole world sings together.
Let me play that from the beginning.
We got to celebrate our differences. We got to celebrate our differences.
Ooga booga doo, ooga booga doo.
We got to celebrate our differences.
Nacho taco, chimichanga.
Cause it's beautiful when the whole world sings together.
Where's Tank when you need him? You didn't even notice Danny DeVito. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. All right. Let's keep going. So, 2 doctors collapse after 32 hours of surgery is separating my haters from my D. This show's jokes, guys. This show's about fun, and regardless, I think most of the people that I know that are of various ethnic makeups are cool people, and they make fun of all the same things. There's a certain class of people, though, they always get butthurt. Certain type, right? But I have an amazing right and lineage founded by men in the eyes of God. And it culminated here in America with the Declaration of Independence.
I'm searching and I'm 3 feet away. Of all the ideas that became the United States, there's a line here that's at the heart of all the others. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. People don't talk that way anymore.
Beautiful. Huh. No idea what you said.
It means if there's something wrong, those who have the ability to take action have the responsibility to take action. I'm gonna steal it.
What?
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yes. It's a great movie, actually. I mean, it's kind of like lame, but it's a fun movie. I'll put it that way. Put it that way. And a lot of that stuff, the occultic stuff, and whatever else they talk about, it's actually real. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just a crazy person. The ones asking to be left alone aren't the extremists, folks, like me. The ones demanding we comply or lose all of our rights are the extremists. You must understand this. You must understand that basically asking people don't do things to you, there's nothing wrong with that. Making people do things for you, there's something wrong with that, right? If they do not wish to do so. And this is the way our world is going. Mom, Dad. Yes, son. I have a confession about myself. What is that? No matter what it is, we will always love you. I don't want Europeans to go extinct. No! Our son is a racist. Why can't he just suck dick? Yeah. Yeah. But interestingly about that, they might be happy if he was a certain type of right winger, because there's some weird stuff out there, guys. I don't know if you know about some of these people on the right these days that like to dress up like girls and talk about things. I could show you some clips about some people that are quite popular and people they hung out with, whatever. But I'm not really into the drama aspect of streaming. I'll just show you a video that, well, you tell me what you think of it.
You big gnats actually showed up. Come on in.
Yeah, we brought some beers and wow, that's
Dr. Murdock, is this good optics?
I think we're just too old to understand Zoomers. But we've got to try and mingle in here if we're ever going to be relevant again.
Oh, Dr. Murdock. It's good to see a fellow Catholic has joined the Groiper army.
Yeah, see that, Murdock? We're becoming relevant.
Now, if you'll excuse me, my bull and I were just about to discuss how Africa would look just like Europe if they had more Christianity. Oh my god, stop, you're being cute.
No, oh my god, you're being cute, stop it.
No, you are.
No, you...
That's a real thing between those two folks. Just saying. I have the videos.
You are.
No, you are.
No, you are.
so yeah. I was reading about how the primary characteristics found in the Indo-European family have 3 main genetic components.
Cringe.
Yeah. That the blood type.
Cringe. Oh my god, Nick, why did you invite cringe here?
Oh, well, I felt sorry for how pathetically irrelevant they were, so I thought I'd be generous.
You're so sweet, King. Well, we've got to work on his look if he's ever going to be really optical.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever you Zoomers think is in. What, maybe lose the mustache? Grow out my beard?
You don't need to worry about getting a beard until people start noticing you never have girlfriends. But listen, I think you'd honestly look a lot better as a cat boy. What do you think, Catboy?
I think it sounds perfect.
Here, Dr. Murdock, put this on.
Meow?
All right, guys. So, I can just tell you, not all of the Groipers or whatever are bad people, but there's some oddness and weirdness, and there's some weirdness in the Civnats and whatever else. So, just keep that in mind. In any case, speaking of which, we have, of course, from the Washington Post, social media post of a distinct type. They hint darkly at the CIA and the FBI behind mass shootings. They traffic in racist, sexist, and homophobic tropes. They revile in the prospect of a white boy summer, which was Chet Hanks's thing. It had nothing to do with it. It talks about their snarky memes, yada, yada, yada. But, of course, it all has to do with being white, right? Because that's the cause of all your problems. But I smell a glowy afoot. It's the way I see it. And if you hadn't heard just recently, the glowies were afoot. In fact, there was a leaked document some time ago, what was it, the other year, talking about how the FBI secret watch list had millions of people on it. And it was like that they were trying to detect some sort of pre-crime. Court documents detail white nationalist group plan to riot at North Idaho Pride event. None of the 31 suspects appeared in court on Monday. So far, several scheduled their court appearances for July 18th, including Spokane suspect. Interesting. Oh no. Select all squares that match the label feds. We've talked about Patriot Front before, and we're going to look at a few memes real quick about them. But they absolutely have to be infiltrated by the feds. They could very well be funded by the feds, but it is an interesting name, Patriot Front, because it's not like Patriot tip of the spear, right? Or Patriot front line. No, it's Patriot Front. Like it's a front and there's something behind the curtain. I don't know. So just wondering, is it the Fed's normal practice when arresting a dangerous neo-Nazi group like Patriot Front to allow members to keep a backpack on that could have guns, ammo, and bombs in it? Asking for a friend. That's interesting. How about this? Oops. Patriot Front member was arrested in Idaho carrying megaphone marked FBI. As he gives the blue steel face. Yeah, kind of interesting, right? Stan, I made you have to log into Entropy, or was that somebody else? Let me check over on Entropy. Holy cow! Yeah, well, thank you for the mandatory, Auntie. Stan, what the F is the faggotry? Fuentes, need I say more? 404. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being over there, guys. See, I did have some viewers on Rumble, but whatever. I don't care. We're going to stream how we stream. People are going to show up or they're not going to show up. What am I going to do about it? Other than keep streaming. Just got off the phone with a source in LE, law enforcement. We narrowly avoided a massacre. I guess I'm not gonna have a good reading day, guys. In Coeur d'Alene, the 31 Patriot Front read white supremacist fascists responsible for Charlottesville were planning for massive violence, not just confrontation. Where were the weapons? Where are all of the weapons? I don't know. Yeah, and this is the reality. It's how compelling. Please face the wall now. Yeah, it's all a show, guys. It's all fake. Come on. Hey, look, we got a Yiz in the house. Hey, I got something perfect for you, Yiz. Perfect right now.
Another fact joined the chat. Another fact joined the chat. And another fact joined, and another fact come. Another fact joined the chat.
Yeah, I've had that for like a year. I don't know. I've avoided it. The longer I do the show, the more I delve into just streaming degeneracy, I suppose. It's hard not to with the leftist ways, right? But more importantly than anything, dear feds, at least change your uniform, right? I don't know. It's a strange situation here. Strange situation. Meanwhile, the FBI won't release its quarterly crime statistics for 2021. Curious. Wonder why that might be. I don't know. But before we go on, guys, I do have to take a quick commercial break. So stand right by.
We're trying the new Burger King Spicy Chicken Sandwich.
Thank you for choosing Burger King. How can I help you today?
Alright, it looks pretty good, but let's see how it tastes. Not too bad. Certainly not as bad as the U.S.'s chemical warfare operations against Cuba. It was 1962. President John F. Kennedy had authorized Operation Mongoose to carry out economic sabotage and terrorism after their failed invasion. The attacks included firebombings of chemical plants and sugarcane fields. The agents also tainted sugar exports with chemical contaminants. Agents also hired a Canadian agricultural worker to infect turkeys with a deadly virus, killing thousands. The CIA also paid Cuban exiles to smuggle African swine flu to infect pigs. The agency would even use a futuristic cloud seeding technology, flying planes and seeding rain clouds with crystals to precipitate torrential rains to create droughts. The CIA is even suspected of being behind a dengue fever outbreak in the 1980s. A Cuban exile on trial in New York testified that a ship traveled to Cuba to, quote, spread germs to be used against the Cuban economy. The outbreak infected over 300,000 Cubans.
Well, there you go. We always appreciate our sponsors here. And that brings me to January 6th. It's it's been in the news lately. I'm not sure why. It was a complete nothing burger. It was not a massive riot. It was an isolated riot with highly aggressive police forces who were brainwashed into believing that they were going to be overthrown, right? And for the most part, these people were just wanting their voices to be heard and wanted the vote to be correctly certified. And I mean, January 6th, we'll leave the doors open for you because that's what happened. We know in federal court, a guy didn't get criminal trespass because the cops let him in. Meanwhile, in the show trial, primetime series that no one is watching because it is ridiculous and stupid, while people are in the they're in the dredges with the economy right now, right? We have cops, DC cops, testifying to things like this. I haven't watched any of this, so this meme could be way off, but I would suspect this is exactly what's being testified to. There was blood everywhere. Fellow officers covered in blood. I was even slipping in it. There was so much police blood squirting about the Capitol that hundreds of security cameras and phones simply could not capture it. I wanted to commit suicide, but no. I felt I must get the truth out there 17 months after the fact. Yeah. Of course, this would discount all of the individual video taken all around, not to mention, DC has got a lot of CCTV cameras around, guys. A lot. I almost died. No, you didn't. You weren't there. Neither were you. Okay, Auntie says she did say something to that effect. Lots of blood and vomit. I don't buy it. I warned about going there, but obviously we all have friends that went there. And I think many of the friends regretted going there afterwards, right? But at least they were smart enough not to go into the building. That was a big one. But AOC has great news. Her IQ test came back, and it came back negative. Meanwhile, the death toll rises. Man dies of heart attack year and a half after eating corn dog at January 6th riot. The carnage never stops, folks. It just keeps going on. It is the greatest catastrophe since the Civil War, World War I, Pearl Harbor, I don't know, everything, right? 9/11. Because the one person that the cops shot and the other person they punched and kicked off fell off a platform a long distance and ended up dying. Those two people, of course, they equate to the same body count as the terrorists that took over on 9/11, or the Japanese that bombed Pearl Harbor. No. How they see January 6th. Pretty much. You can probably figure out what quadrant I'm in pretty quickly there, right? Me, given the January 6th incident was half-hearted and they got far, imagine if we org them. Are you suggesting we actually overthrow the government? Of course not. No way. No way we should overthrow the government. No, I'm not an insurrectionist, guys. I don't promote that stuff, but I do understand protecting you and your family from the government being out of line. We're going to talk about that here toward the end of the show. We got to get through a lot of stuff first, though. The people who did this want you to be mad over this. And more breaking news, Dems to hold a June 9th hearing to get to the bottom of why no one watched January 6th hearing. Yeah. It's probably because they were like this.
I was murdered. You were murdered. Okay, you obviously weren't murdered because you're alive and you're basically intact. You weren't murdered, buddy. You weren't murdered, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Achievements from the swamp, Afghanistan disaster, inflation, baby formula shortage, high cost of living, high fuel prices, high crime, open border disaster, division and hate. Look back there, January 6th. The old bait and switch, wag the dog, as the expression goes. And the reality is, if Trump really asked his supporters to storm the Capitol on January 6th, they'd still be there occupying the Capitol today. And I mean, a lot of us, of course, supported Trump, right? And a lot of us were angry at Trump for various reasons, but we know that he was at least better than what's been in there, right? To some degree, at least the economy was doing somewhat better, which again, we will talk about here soon. But those QAnon people would 100% follow him into battle. I promise you. Trust the plan, man. Trust the plan. And they were going on about that up until what? When was it? Just what the end of this past year or something like that? And maybe they still are. Oh, these things are going to come out. Trump's going to be restored to the presidency. It's like, dude, no. You're insane. You're just as insane as the leftist. But I've also had people tell me, I mean, I had Elliot Hulse on this show who told me that he kind of bought into that, Elliot's an interesting guy. He's a cool dude, but you would think he would be well informed, and he was buying into that stuff, right? And for me, when someone tells me something's going to happen and it doesn't, I tend not to want to listen to them anymore. But despite all of this, let's see how the government, or not the government, that is the media, covered some things with Donald Trump versus Joe Biden and some of the framing. So this is from The Atlantic. For Trump, the truth about Jamal, you guys know his name, right? You can read. It's because I'm trying to read it that I can't say it. It's a weird dyslexic thing. Anyways, is beside the point. The White House Tuesday statement was striking for its implications that whatever the truth of the Crown's Prince invoked, it didn't really matter. And here we go from another article. The brutal truth behind Trump's love affair with Saudi Arabia. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has done what with America, has asked, and the president has assured him their relationship is safe. So we flash forward to Biden. We have the end of American lip service to human rights. The administration recites about the disappearance of Saudi journalist is offensive. But it also is clarifying. So this is all about Trump and dealing with Saudi Arabia. All of a sudden, boom. Biden is right about Saudi Arabia. The president is sacrificing his value and in the interest of something we haven't seen much of in the past 2 decades. Realism. What? I think that's exactly what Trump was doing, right? When he being realistic about how we deal with Saudi Arabia. Yeah, just a little bit. But there was once a prophecy. There was once a prophecy given, and it foretold what would be coming. For millennia, light and dark have lived in balance, bringing peace to the world. But if this harmony were to shatter, a terrible calamity would occur. Joe Biden would become president of the United States of America. And with that, there were a lot of predictions about how Biden would be in office.
Before I took office, there were a lot of folks out there making some pretty bold predictions about how things would turn out. You might remember some of the predictions.
They're coming for your guns, they're coming for your jobs, and they're coming for your freedom. They hate American energy, and Joe Biden will shut it all down. He's going to.
That if I became president,
Biden's elected, he will wipe out your energy industry.
Another prediction, that is my favorite one, I must add, is that if I got elected,
Gas prices going $5, $6, $7 for a gallon. Flood your communities with criminal aliens, drugs, and crime while they live behind beautiful gated compounds. They try to take away your gun, Second Amendment, they want to take it away, while they enjoy private security that's fully armed.
I never understood that one.
To spend trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, and defending foreign borders.
So for all those predictions of doom and gloom 6 months in, here's where we stand.
Do you want to use the word recession or depression?
Think of the single mom struggling to put food on the table each month.
You know, it's sad.
So if your primary concern right now is inflation,
we could stop it in 30 minutes.
When I took office,
he finally went outside. He went to get an ice cream.
Look, the bottom line is this.
I say you're not doing a very good job. Because he can't take any questions now from the press.
Yes, Spook, I know you can say Jamal Khashoggi perfectly. Laughs in Arab's superiority. Yeah, it's, again, not his name that's the problem. It's me reading the name. It's only another dyslexic would understand. It is it's a weird thing. It's a very weird thing. When you know things, you see words, sometimes you know what they are, and because of the lettering and all, your brain just can't process it. Quite strange. Anyways, I don't let it stop me. I keep going. Keep moving. Keep moving. I'll reads anyways. But folks, the reality is that democracy is this. Sorry, straw man, but we all voted fair and square. And I mean, that's the truth of the matter. And these people, they don't even want democracy. They're talking about their oligarchy. And I say this a lot, but the reality is that most of you have never studied the classics, and it's quite prevalent in the classics that democracy leads to oligarchy. It always does. And that was a big reason why the founders didn't want democracy. They wanted rule of law, but they knew no system would matter unless the people were moral, and that has been being eroded for quite a while now, right? I don't know. I'm just like, after giving a couple homeless guys Adderall and pickaxes and then telling them there's a buried treasure under a local senator's driveway. That's kind of, what I'm thinking. And a particular senator I could think of, but numerous senators I could think of, actually. But we're going to talk about the Speaker of the House instead. Nancy Pelosi. And Pelosi, she was prepared to make statements about her husband's DUI, if you hadn't heard. And if you didn't know, a synonymous word for drunk, if you're looking for a 6-letter word, or intoxicated, is Pelosi. And that is abundantly obvious by her husband, the multi-millionaire, multi-millionaire. They're worth like $500,000 or something, maybe more, that we don't know about, right? Who's a banker and everything else. He was arrested for DUI. They dropped the charges, and now, amazingly and surprisingly, they brought the charges back up. Now, he'll get a slap on the wrist. He'll get an ankle bracelet or something like that, or he'll have to pay a big fine, which is a drop in the bucket to him. Like a big fine, like $20,000 or $30,000. Well, when you're worth $500 million, that really isn't anything now, is it? So Napa County District Attorney Allison Haley has bowed to intense public pressure and reversed her decision not to charge Paul Pelosi. Pelosi will be arraigned on August 3rd at 8:30 a.m. at Napa County Superior Court. Maybe old Rackets can get a stream up on that or something. Hard to say. I don't know if they're televised out there. But once again, folks, just realize this is a Shih Tzu, and that is a shit zoo. And I found this meme interesting because this is how retarded the boomer Republicans are. Make no mistake about this. The Obamas were the creators and starting point of all the division and current anti-American chaos we're witnessing in America today. No, they were not. They were the antithesis, right? They were the precipice. They were the point at which everything tipped, sure. But this stuff has been going on for decades. The long march through the institutions started in the 60s. Well, mid 50s, maybe something like that, through the 60s and the 70s. Those people have been creating the policies. Those people have been indoctrinating the children. Those people have been pushing out the literature, right? All of your neo-Marxist, right? Your new left. So did Obama accelerate things? Yes, we were kind of post-racial, as we would phrase it in this country. And then he made things about race again. But the whole point of doing all of that is to divide, to keep you weak. And mind you, like, we need to declassify some things about the Obamas at some point. And from one of the Obamas, blue checked. And no, I cannot confirm or deny the legend of Big Mike, aka Michael LaVane Robinson. Folks, please don't ask me that question again. Yeah. It's like mid-sentence Kamala Harris. What? I didn't look up to see if that was a real tweet, but anyways, in other news, study finds that owners do look like their pets. Just a little bit, right? Just remember that's old Zelensky's uncle too. Old Volodimir's uncle. Organized crime syndicates momentarily pause to flash signs and take selfies as America cities burn. Build Back Better Act. The White House, the true story of lies, corruption, ineptitude, and elder abuse. Coming soon. Freaking. What are you doing, anti-commie? Being autistic in the chat? Why is my bar up? This should be hidden. What is up with that? That's interesting. Oh well. Not that worried about it. This is why I need Tank. I need someone to fill in the moments where I'm trying to do stuff in the background. What Chinese products can you live without? Joe Biden. Yeah. And of course, we know that old Uncle Joe has got some serious issues in his personal life, and his son Hunter Biden has a lot of issues, right? But the corporate media wants to ignore the child porn on the laptop of the son of the sitting president. Meanwhile, our sitting president wants to make poverty great again. And I think that for the sake of coffee, we should refrain from calling it a cup of Joe out of respect. Just saying. But you guys all know how bad things are getting out there, how bad gas is. I mean, gas around here is about $5, just under. Now I can get it cheaper certain places, depending, right? But kind of have to go out of my way to do that. And I've said it before, it's going to be $7-8 in a lot of cities, in a lot of places by August. I promise you, if this continues. And it's on purpose, right? Seems to be that they are trying to deplete the oil reserves, seems to be that they're trying to cut off all ties from oil. And now they're talking about putting ethanol in everything, which then of course means that they're going to use the corn that is used for feed and in every single product, mind you, in the United States practically, used for sugar as well, right? But we use corn in a lot of stuff, not suggesting that that's ideal either, but they're going to use that now for gas. So what do you think that's going to do to the food shortages? Just something to think about here. Something to think about. There's going to be a red wave soon of voters, right? Newsmax, tampon shortages, latest sign of supply chain issues in stores. And that's true. Not only is baby formula out, but so are tampons, ladies. I hope you like voting Democrat. Meanwhile, we have some leftist memes. Joe Biden made the gas expensive. Yeah, actually, he did. He actually did. I just played you that Trump prediction, right? Yeah, you have died from weak leftist memes. Sorry. Peace out, bro. And now the market has crashed. The market is tumbling. It's spiraling out of control. And they're trying to tell you that it's not happening right in front of your face because, well, I mean, we live in a synthetic society. Kramer, what's going on in there? I'm losing my life savings, Jerry. Meanwhile, Biden's like, and if you guys have stocks, just leave them in there. Leave them in there. If you're going to lose it, you're going to lose it. Don't pull out because, well, this isn't you trying to prevent yourself from having a kid. It's most likely these big companies will not go under and they will be bailed out. All right. So don't pull out your money. It is a bad idea. Stock markets are a deal that you play over years. But meanwhile, as Joe Biden knows he's responsible for all this, he's gearing up to blame Putin. Imagine that. And as things continue, electric prices will go up. Got my electric bill, went outside to check the meter, said bend over. And of course, the big push is get them to buy electric cars, then double the price of electricity. Do you understand how all this keeps going? How it keeps working? And then like the left, they just keep accepting it. It's like most of them are really rich elitists and they're not actually working class folks. It's like they're insulated from this somehow by wealth and they don't know what it's like to make $60,000 or less a year. Every stock in the S&P 500 is red right now. We did it, Joe. And of course, you probably know the realities of what is going on, and it has to do with the Federal Reserve Bank primarily. All of these other things are second, third, fourth, fifth order consequences to the Federal Reserve Bank and the monopoly money Ponzi scheme that they have going on.
Consequence of free markets. What's happening is there's transfer of wealth from the poor and the middle class to the wealthy. This comes about because of a monetary system that we have. When you inflate a currency or destroy a currency, the middle class gets wiped out. So the people who get to use the money first, which is created by the Federal Reserve System, benefit. So the money gravitates to the banks and to Wall Street. So that's why you have more billionaires than ever before. Today, this country is in the middle of a recession for a lot of people. Michigan knows about it. Poor people know about it. The middle class knows about it. Wall Street doesn't know about it. Washington, D.C. doesn't know about it. but it's because of the monetary system and the excessive spending, because we are financing a foreign policy that is so extravagant and beyond what we can control, as well as the spending here at home, and we're depending on the creation of money out of thin air, which is nothing more than debasement of the currency. It's counterfeit, and it is a natural, predictable consequence that you're going to have people benefit from it and other people suffer. So if you want a healthy economy, you have to study monetary theory and figure out why it is that we're suffering. And everybody doesn't suffer equally. Military-industrial complex, they make a lot of money.
Amen, Dr. Paul. And that's why I was part of Campaign for Liberty back in the day, which got taken over by the Tea Party and then taken over by the conservatives and the rhinos and all that. So unfortunate. Hadn't met up with the crew though a couple weeks back. Didn't have a lot of time. But yeah, got to hang out with some of the folks that used to be politically active with some years ago. We're talking 10 plus years now. That's 2008. So 14 years ago, almost 15. Man, that's what happens when you get old, right? Time flies. But yeah, it's like you remember these guys? This is them now. Feel old yet? This is what we're seeing. And it's bad. And yes, anti-commie, ethanol does destroy unless you have certain engines and you can run on E85. Which is cheaper right now. But it's all bait and switch, folks. It's all a bait and switch. Here we have $7.79. That's almost $7 for gas. Or no. Hold on. That's gallons up there. My bad. But the bigger thing is the Ukraine thing here. Worth it? No, it's not. It's not worth it. It's not worth the murder of other people and supporting that murder. And mind you, the Ukrainians aren't getting that money, you stupid idiot. Foreign aid never goes to the people. It only goes to the elite. And as Dr. Paul just said, it is elite rich people moving wealth around. You know why they support communism? Because they want to take your wealth as well as everyone else's and let no one have wealth but them. And that's okay by Marx. He was always part of the bourgeois. And finally, folks, the prophecy has been fulfilled. 7-11. Times are getting weird. Me putting 20 pounds of fuel in my car. Yeah, you think we have it bad. The Europeans have it even worse. No, they don't have a culture that's dependent on the automobile as much as we are. But still, they have much higher gas prices than they have for years. So, I mean, this not just affects America, it affects the entire world. And the reason why that happens is because we run the world currency that they are currently destroying and devaluing. Some currency, some nation's going to have to pop up because of that. I have a theory about who that's going to be. I don't think it's much of a theory. I think it's pretty obvious. I think that the breadcrumbs lead right to the trail, right to the spot of the individuals that they're looking forward to making the new global leaders. From the manosphere, President Anthony, gas will be over $10 a gallon in most of the country by the time Trump gets back in. I don't know about that. And the reason why I don't know about that is because it's hard to say what the Republicans will be doing after the midterms if they gain seats, if they gain control. Most likely they'll do nothing, as they have a history of doing nothing, but maybe we get some motivated candidates in there that want to get things done. But, you know, we could guesstimate of how bad the GOP is, but I believe that 60 to 70% of it is corrupted, that they're basically rhinos. They're basically, holding out and slowing down on the progressive march until the appropriate time comes. It's the old line that the Republicans will be supporting transgender kids here in about 20 years, right? They're going to wreck the country because they want you and your family starving and dead. Behind the cute slogans, nice suits, fake smiles, and buffoonery is murderous, psychopathic intent. Yeah, I think so. I've been watching the Dissident podcast lately a lot of, because I just happened to catch Jason Slocum on or sorry, is it Jason? Is that his name? Josh. It's Josh Slocum. That's right. I just happened to catch him on trigonometry the other week, and he's actually saying the same kind of stuff I have been, because I have my experience with cluster B personality disorders, and I understand what those are, and I understand enough of the Marxist literature to understand that they want to induce those into people, and that we're seeing a lot of that in our society and culture right now. And the reason why we are is because this society is manufactured. It's not real. If people were in a real environment, faced with real truth, and not being brainwashed with things that are in conflict with the reality, then they would be mentally stable. And a large part of that mental instability is the schizophrenia of the mass media and the government, right? I hope gas prices don't get high this summer. Gas prices this summer. It's not dinosaurs, it's trees. No, it is dinosaurs. Oil is dinosaurs, dude. Trees is coal. You got that backwards. Yeah, I don't know enough about all that, but again, I wouldn't be surprised they want to put something into your car that wants to destroy it, that would destroy it, and then basically say, "Well, see, the combustion engine wasn't efficient after all." Oh, where was I at here? Here we go. So clear, even a child can understand. U.S. gas prices: Obama, Trump, Biden. Yeah, because we're in the third Obama presidency basically right now. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I've been driving for a living in my own personal vehicle, so I'm not really hurting, but it's I want to find gas for cheap. And when your best friend's grandmother owns a gas station, you'll do some desperate things. But when I get to the pump, it gets a little crazy sometimes. I freak out,
No. Wait. Hey. Wait. Wait. Just wait.
And as we go along here into the economics of this thing, we see that inflation rose 8.6% in May, highest since 1981. Of course, that is adjusted statistics, sort of. It's just they're always screwing with the numbers, guys. You have to understand that the CPI is not a good way to check this. Now, a better way is the producer price index. The most useful measure of general inflation is a whopping 16.3 from April 2021 per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That means that only roughly $1 out of every 6 that people earn has been lost to inflation in a single year. The way I related this to my wife is that the money that we are now earning between me working and her working and her having a pay raise sort of recently, our income is basically our real valued income after taxes and inflation is about half half of what we make. And, we just got into that, 6-figure area between the two of us. So it's like once you get there, you're supposed to be like, oh man, I can be pretty comfortable. And no. Nope. And I can't imagine what you know, people making $30,000-$40,000 a year are doing with a family. Because for years I worked at the sheriff's department. No, I didn't get a pay raise for a couple of years. I was supposed to be making like 10 grand more than I was. But that was because the county shut it down because they made excuses because of, the market crash, right? But yeah, I was making under $50,000 a year forever. And unless I did overtime. And that was just me and my daughter. Could not imagine. I don't live in an expensive area. That's the other thing with all that. But yeah, it's like actual inflation versus official inflation rates, right? It's pretty much how it goes. And when we're asking why are all these shelves bare again, it's because we let women vote. No, I don't actually think I will make the repeal the 19th joke, but I actually don't think that that's the problem. I think in part it helps facilitate the problem. The bigger problem is weak men, because if men were strong, it wouldn't matter how stupid or ridiculous the women were about their emotional appeals and how they wanted to mother everybody to death and tyranny. It wouldn't matter because the men would say no, and that's how it would go. But we have a lot of weak men. It's the bottom line. Our society indoctrinates them. It makes them, it churns them out. That is the point of all this. That's the point of the synthetic society, right? To synthesize you into their communistic way, to synthesize you to eat the bugs, to synthesize you into a weak man who doesn't take your birthright as a leader. What causes a recession? Maybe it's you and how grumpy you are about the economy. Yup, it's your bad attitude about 650 gallon gas. Yeah. Yep. Serious question for Republicans and independents. What would you rather have? $2.50 per gallon gas or democracy? Everyone said gas. There were others about Hitler. This guy, you want to have a fun time. This guy on Twitter, boy, is he an idiot. Man. I believe I retweeted him the other day. So if you have my Twitter, go find him real quick and get in his get in his comments every now and again. Retweet him. Oh man. Me cruising with the ghost of Hitler with $2.50 gas. Yeah. Of course, the Biden administration continues to push that the economy is booming because all the jobs that people left and couldn't go to and work because they locked everything down. Well, some of those people are coming back, except for the workforce is not coming back in full participation. But, they're going to lie. It's what they do. He says, Biden has sparked historic economic boom as stock market plunges into bear market amid record inflation, high gas prices, and recession fears. There are no fears, guys. The recession is here. It is happening. This is the beginning of it. I told you, it's nearly a year and a half ago now that the money supply being inflated was going to hit you hard in about 2 years. Guess who has an understanding of basic economics? This guy. And, I'm not like, I don't know everything. I've read a lot of books about the stuff and I've read a lot of history and seems pretty evident to me. I don't think you need to have technocrats who are planning every little thing and again don't know the first, second, third, fourth, fifth order consequence of things I don't think, they're going to be able to devise a way to make things perfect. It didn't work under FDR, it just prolonged the Great Depression. And it hasn't worked any other time we did it. Didn't work under Obama. The recovery we had under Trump wasn't supposed to happen. The slow recovery we had under Obama was supposed to happen. It was supposed to that 8-year period was supposed to put you in the mindset that you were going to, if you were just going to get a little bit better of an economy, you were going to be well off. It was to put you in a place, 8 years of your life of understanding this is the new normal, right? This time they were a lot more overt about it. They just told you, this is the new normal, guys. This is the new normal. No, it's not. And of course, my favorite economist, I mean, I have several favorite economists, but he's definitely one of them. Paul Krugman, by 2005 or so, it will become clear that the internet's impact on the economy has been no greater than the fax machine. Predictions from this Nobel Prize winning economist who has got nothing right ever. Meanwhile, we have Larry Fink, of BlackRock, rubs his hands together as he blames inflation on nationalism and lower immigration. He's literally the meme. What are we talking about here? FDR worsened the depression. Unemployment sank 6% before. Yeah. Okay. FDR did not worsen the depression. He made the depression. You could talk about Hoover and all that stuff. Hoover didn't do enough. FDR thought that he needed to do more. The depression would have been over if they left it alone, just like the market crash in 20 and 21. None of these things last more than 2 years generally if you leave it alone. They last longer because of central economic planning. From 6 to 9%. But there's a ton of other factors. There was the takeover of the Supreme Court, basically, by threatening to pack the court. There was the industrial farming that took place, the burning of fields, the killing of animals that propped up prices. There were a lot of things going on. They were regulating how the businesses ran their own companies, and they were doing high taxes. That's why there was a bit of a boom in the 60s, and the early 60s, that is, the late 50s, early 60s, because well, it was more steady, but these people were hiring on family members and stuff like that to basically keep their tax rates lower. And so, we start creating this system of then cronyism. There's all these factors, there's all these things that go together. And then JFK comes along and gives the huge tax break that all Americans needed as American manufacturing sort of stagnated, right? It became elitist business class instead of working class. And of course, then Japan took over the manufacturing, which it went through its own boom and bust cycle, and then China now has it, and China will go through its own boom and bust cycle, but it's always about who the globalists back. So, anyways. Yes, Biden does want to be FDR. In fact, I was going to talk about that Sunday on All Minus One if I got a chance to stream, but things came up, so like last minute, and was not happy about it either. But things are fixed. So what we are experiencing right now is the aftermath of the. I don't think so, Anti-Commie. I don't think so at all. That was the start, sure, but they're doing it. They know better. They know better. They absolutely know better. Maybe they don't, but I'm pretty sure they do. And they're just telling you the lies because they want you to believe it because you don't know better. Now you do, but the masses don't. Food, electricity, gas, used cars, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P 500. Food shortages vanishing. Transitory inflation. Vanishing 401ks, that is, sorry. Transitory inflation, best economic recovery ever. Yeah. But the news is turning, the tides are turning, and this is kind of in reverse order, but we're going to listen to Joe Scarborough talk about these things, and then we're going to flash back to what he said in the past.
Happens, and my God, I just wonder what would have happened if progressives had gotten their $6 trillion wish earlier this year.
Yeah, in an ironic way, you almost have to thank Joe Manchin for blocking that, because $6.5 trillion of spending in this economy would make these numbers look small. Yeah, look, we had a huge budget deficit. We had an unbelievably aggressive reaction by the Fed to the pandemic. You can kind of understand why they were trying, but they just tried too hard. And now we're all going to pay the consequences in a very, very tough environment over the next year or two while this gets sorted out.
And by the way, I wouldn't even say ironically thank Joe Manchin. You can just thank Joe Manchin if you're glad that interest rates aren't even higher. For the life of me, I can't figure out why they keep doing this. Going to the press, setting false deadlines that are going to fail. This is pretty simple stuff. Let me say that again. This is pretty simple stuff. You get the head of the Progressive Caucus, you get Joe Manchin, and you get Joe Biden, and you put them in a room. And you say, we're not going to get out of this room until one of two things happen. One, we have a deal. Or two, we're going to have a press conference where we go out and announce that Joe Manchin does not support any piece of legislation regarding Build Back Better. Senator Manchin has said that he would support universal pre-K, full $1.75 trillion. That would be an extraordinary new entitlement for American families. If that's the case, you don't find that out by talking to reporters or setting deadlines. You get in the room, and not with 1,000 people. Get Manchin, get the head of the Progressive Caucus, get Joe Biden, sit at a table and do it like you have done it, like every other business person has done it for years, and say, okay, let's make a deal or let's just walk away from this. If you take Manchin at his word, he's already committed. He shook Biden's hand. He said, I'll give you $1.75 trillion. So you start by saying, Joe, show us your bill. Not what you might support. Show us your bill.
All right, you guys get the point there. So Scarborough is saying, in the past, of course, Joe Biden needed to do this infrastructure bill. And now he's saying, or not Joe Biden, sorry, Joe Manchin needed to pass this bill because he was the guy who held it up, right? And now he's saying, thank God for Joe Manchin doing the right thing and holding up that infrastructure bill. Absolute bollocks. So I got your point there, Anti-Commie. I see you were typing in multiple things. So you were saying that the .com bubble, we kept QEing since then, meaning we raised we raised our debt rate and we printed money, right? Monetary or quantitative easing. And we kept doing both things. The issue is we were doing that before, just not as rapidly. Remember, it was Bill Clinton who balanced the budget during the 90s. The .com thing was crazy. I never understood it either. I didn't understand it in time. Of course, I was only in high school, but I'd be like, what's this .com thing about? You got a .com? What do you do? And then years later, I remember watching Peter Peter Schiff talk about it. Same thing. And it's like, no, you don't understand. We have all these people investing. It's like, yeah, but what do you produce? What do you make? What do you provide? What is your service? What's a .com? It doesn't mean anything, man. It's the what is a woman question. You can't use words if they don't have meaning because no one understands what you're saying then. It's meaningless, right? He kicked it. He said, no, he didn't. He kicked debts around. Dude, I, I get it. I get it. But he balanced the budget. It doesn't matter if he kicked whatever route. He balanced the budget. No one's done that. And the only way we're going to get a truly balanced budget is if we basically eliminate 60% of the federal government, all the bureaucrats, and probably a lot more than that. So, I mean, you seem adversarial today, bud. In any case, let's keep moving, guys. Forget. I cannot read today. For the love of God, you made gas prices even higher than COVID-19. Stop traveling. So, or you made gas prices so high, even COVID-19 stopped traveling. Yeah, just the reading's not there today. I don't know why that is. Okay, Gingrich did that, right. But again, yes, he did want to pass Hillary Care. Yes. But Hillary, I'm glad we didn't get Hillary Care. That would have been worse than probably Obamacare. It would have been really bad. It would great payout to the insurance companies, though. Imagine that. The Democrats who are for the little guy and the working man were going to give a big boost to the corporations. Nah, they don't do that. It's the Republicans, right? Freaking stupid people believe stupid things. They never look into it. It's just sloganeering. You have died of inflation. Yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to have a hard time. People will die. I hate saying that. It's going to happen. We don't have a lot of food insecurity. I know that there's a lot of lefties out there to talk about kids that don't get food and da-da-da-da. It's because they have crap parents. We don't have food insecurity in the United States. We are in the midst of getting there, and we will be there probably by next summer if things keep going as it is. Hopefully the midterms correct some things, but we'll see. And we'll see about Joe Biden's veto, because that's the other thing, is the veto proofing. Because cooking $57 worth of food in 2020 is going to be something like this, And I don't know. I thought, the UK's going through some troubles too, and the rest of the Western world. I thought I'd play this clip.
Remember when Freddo's used to be 10 pence? Yeah, I know, bro. 25 pence now. What did the crazy Scotsman think about it?
Right, you wee bastard! Fredo! How can you charge 25 pence for that crap? Have you grown now? Do you have a mortgage and 2 kids? You shite man! What the hell are you looking at? You bastard! You start now, you wanna fight me, man? I'm sure to go, I'll bang your face, man! I'll bang your face, man! You...
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be angry, Scottish or not? The Biden accomplishments: highest gas prices, worst inflation, plummeting crypto prices, highest rent prices ever, created new incomprehensible language. If you're reading this and voted for Biden and you still don't regret it, then you are the American problem. And people are beginning to wake up to this, of how bad this is. This is going to crush the Democrats in the long term. But I never, ever underestimate the ability for Americans to forget what just happened to them and the last few years. And it's not just Americans, it's people all over the world. Human beings are very finicky creatures, and they tend not to be very principled. They tend to just want to get by. Maybe it's a thing of priorities, right? Where you're just trying to take care of your kids and all the things, get to work, right? Get your groceries, So you don't have time to know what you're doing when you vote. Well, I say BS. If you don't know who you're voting for, and if you're watching mainstream news and you're basing political opinions on that, you shouldn't be voting at all. I want people to vote who are informed. And I do believe that there's rigging, but I don't think, like some people, that stating that is demoralizing to make people stop voting. No, in fact, I think that creates more turnout when you say, look, if you don't vote, they're going to rig this system in their favor, and it's going to keep getting this way. And, like in the Gavin Newsom recall, when people showed up in person and found that they had pre-voted by mail, yet they had not. See, that's why rigging is important to talk about. That's why fortification is important to talk about. It's not because it why does it even matter anyways? It might not matter, but you need to make the effort. You need to make the effort unless you want to lose everything. And more importantly, you need to make the effort locally. And guys, just never forget January 6th. I wish gas prices were lower. It is done. Poof. A gun. My lawyer has recommended that I do not finish this joke. Your border, your city, your store, your gas, and your president. Think about it. Fun fact. Democrat Party is sinking faster than Ted Kennedy's Oldsmobile. By the way, I said it properly. It's not the Democratic Party. It's the Democrat Party. Democratic is a process. It is, how we figure things out, right? We debate, we talk, whatever. They are the Democrats. That's all. That is all. Meanwhile, Russia's about 10 days away from exhausting ammo and manpower. Former U.S. commander. Russia will run out of ammo and manpower. Who will run out of ammo and manpower? Ukraine is running out of ammunition and prospects dim on the battlefield. So wait for another, $100 billion to be going to Ukraine here in the next 3 months, guys. Just wait for it. Meanwhile, The View. Yes. Exactly. That's when you got to get to know and understand who these people are. There's a particular politician I won't mention right now, or a particular individual who's trying to get into politics that I have come to know, and I cannot support them as a politician because I don't believe that they will actually do their duty. I believe they will try to enrich themselves and care more about their own personal things than what they claim. So, you have to. It is your duty as a citizen, unless you like being a slave. And as the Ukrainian war goes, and of course, inflation is high, gas, all of that stuff, right? Nothing to see here, nothing going on. This is all Putin's fault. We have Matthew McConaughey at the White House, right? That happened last week. And hey, look, son, another celebrity with an armed security detail telling us to give up our guns. Yeah. Matthew McConaughey, more gun control now. Also Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. Right? It's okay to glorify guns and all that stuff in movies. You just can't own them to protect yourself. Kamala Harris convinces Matthew McConaughey to speak out in favor of gun control. Was it that, or was it this? One way or another, they're going to get to you, folks. Of course, we talked about this last week on the show about the shoes. Those are not the same shoes as the little girl wore, yet McConaughey and his wife suggested they were. You can tell they are a totally different color. That heart is drawn differently. And of course, in the other picture over there, she is holding them, and that is when Matthew McConaughey said, "Oh, these are the shoes. These are the shoes of the girl." There was the only thing left to identify her body. Yeah. That's someone who's never seen anything shot in their life. I mean, you could go on YouTube or any streaming service, and watch police footage and see what happens when someone gets shot by an AR-15 or any number of firearms calibers. It's not much. There's not as much blood as you think. It's very different than your movie perception. Hey man, be a lot cooler if you hand in all your guns so that the digital enslavement of humanity by the central bankers goes much smoother. Yeah. No, I don't think so. Meanwhile, nobody needs an AK-47. Nobody had 57 friends commit suicide either. I mean, what is that? Oh, I just committed suicide by shooting myself in the chest while I'm hanging. And of course, old David Hogg has to chime in with his epic takes as always. This is an older one, but an oldie, but a goodie. Imagine saying the only way to stop shark attacks is with more sharks. Imagine making a shark-free zone at your local beach and then being surprised when sharks still attack. I don't think David's ever mastered the art of analogy. It's been 6 years, David. I see, we have looked over some of your stuff in the last couple of weeks. I see that this from 6 years ago is exactly the same skill level you are at today, Mr. Harvard man. Meanwhile, leftists at a concert when someone says that there is a shooting going on. Yeah. So did you catch the subtle ultimatum McConaughey made in his White House soapbox? I have no information that will read the rest to nobody. Okay. I didn't really watch all the McConaughey thing. I've been working. I get the news, I catch the news, I get the memes, but I am do not have my head as deep in it as I would have in previous months streaming. In any case, yeah, so that's a leftist concert, of course. Or sorry, a gun control rally, not a concert. And of course, there's not going to be any guns there, and of course, they're freaking out. Now, if we had a pro-gun rally and this happened, no one would be freaking out. People might be getting undercover, they might be doing whatever. But if there was a shooting, it would have been stopped in like a second. That's the thing, right? Because the whole good guy with a gun thing. And here we have the GOP senators supporting the gun safety bill, and that is no surprise. It's all the same conservative cucks that it always is. No surprise at all. But apparently the bill is pretty inept. It apparently it doesn't have any teeth. No, I don't know. I will look at it eventually here, but yeah, it's not really going to do anything. Meanwhile, the news is gaslighting as always and saying the most ridiculous, insane, and retarded things that actually prove the point of the pro self-defense, pro gun people.
Lieutenant Governor says he owns an AR-15 so he can fight back in case, quote, the government gets too big for its britches. Talk to me about this connection between guns and this bonkers threat of government tyranny.
I mean, do you know the payload that comes on a Tomahawk missile? All right, do you have any idea what kind of force and firepower the American military can lay waste to a city or a town or your house?
Very poor choice of words.
And you think that your armor light rifle is gonna be what stops them? Are you nuts? No, your guns will not protect you from the U.S. government if the U.S. government wants your stuff. Ask, I don't know, like Panama.
Well, I'll take them all.
What, all the handguns?
No, everything. All your guns.
No, that's a bit of a problem.
Your guns will not protect you from the U.S. government if the U.S. government wants your stuff.
Yeah, 3 weeks to take Baghdad. Let's yeah, I was going to mention Afghanistan after this as well. It's yeah, like are you stupid? I don't know. When you tag a B-52 with a laser pointer just for shits and giggles and it starts turning. I mean, it's kind of the way things look like they're going, right?
What are you gonna do? Take on a whole army with your little AR-15? It would be useless against tanks and planes.
So I guess I can keep my AR-15.
No, it's a weapon of war.
Yeah. Yeah. Or at some point, someone on the left might break all of reality and be consistent in their thinking. It isn't necessarily a weapon of war, but anything can be a weapon. Look, anything can be a weapon. Period. I can kill you with a lot of things. I laugh at it, but it's true. People who know me know that that's true. Like, know me well. I can kill you with a lot of things that you would not even think about. I can kill you with a magazine. You know, Sports Illustrated. Whatever. Look, guys. A weapon is just a tool. A tool is not in any way moral. It's just a tool. How you use it dictates the morality. Right? So if I build a house with a hammer, I'm probably doing pretty good. But if I bash your skull in, might not be so good. Most murders in the United States happen with weapons that aren't firearms. Of firearm weapons that are used, AR-15s or any rifle are about less than 100 of the 30,000 deaths. So why do you want it? So that you can bomb my city and my house and whatever else? And that's a pretty far step. That's not what we're talking about, guy, because we don't do that. We don't do that to other nations. We don't bomb the crap, like some areas sometimes or whatever, but generally we don't bomb the crap out of areas in warfare, in modern warfare. We send in ground troops. That's the point of an infantryman. It's not like World War II where we just carpet bomb everything and hope to rebuild later. And perhaps there's some little hick town in West Virginia that the federal government wouldn't care about. I mean, they burned down Waco, the not the whole place of Waco, of course, but the Branch Davidian compound. And I know that was an accident, but it was an unfounded accident. Did they drop bombs on those people too? Or did they go in there with people individually and couldn't take them because they had firearms? Interesting. Your AR-15s can't win against the government that has F-15s and nukes. Protesters with bats and bear spray almost overthrew the government. Yeah. Yeah. Freaking leftist. Statist, really. It's not just leftist, it's statist. It's people that don't have God in their life. It's people that don't have proper emotional regulation. It's people that have these cluster B personality disorders that are so prevalent these days. It is people who are just on the fringes of society, and then the rest of society is going along with them because they're not smart enough or brave enough to lead themselves. It is usually futile to try to talk facts to people who are enjoying a sense of moral superiority in their ignorance. Yeah, yeah. People like this. Truth. The bullet was invented in 1847. Second Amendment is from 1789. So the Second Amendment only applies to muskets. You're an idiot. Shut up. The internet was invented in 1983. First Amendment is from 1789. So the First Amendment only applies to movable type printing presses and quill pens. That is your argument. That's all it is. It's a stupid argument. It's not what they were talking about. They were talking about fundamental rights, which have nothing to do with technology. The technology will and can change. It is not related at all to the fundamental right of protecting yourself, your property, and your loved ones, or even if they're not your loved one, your neighbor, your community, what you value in life. And for those of you who don't fully get what I'm getting at here, you can't have a thin blue line bumper sticker right next to the come and take them sticker. Who the hell do you think is going to come and take them? Think, bootlicker, think. No, seriously though, you cannot. You can do whatever you want, but you're not making any sense. And I'm all about having sheriffs and good police forces and stuff like that. We have good police in my area. I live in West Virginia, man. We have the best police academy in the nation. So, my interactions with the police around here are generally good, but other places, no, they think us versus them. I know. I worked in law enforcement for a long time. Most of the guys are us versus them types. They will take them from you. I knew guys who were in charge who, when we went to constitutional carry, they were sergeants and stuff. And when we went to constitutional carry here in West Virginia, they were asking me what I thought about it. And I said, I don't think anything about it. I think, thank God that we have, our state is actually respecting the Constitution. And these guys were, I think it'll just be chaos. It'll just be people killing everyone everywhere. And I'm like, are you insane? Are you stupid? No, that's not what happens. You're stupid. You're a stupid person who's indoctrinated. That's what you are. Another guy told me, I don't like it. I live up in PA because, I was working in Maryland, living down here, and, Pennsylvania's not too far either. He's like, oh, I don't understand why, like, everyone has to, I just want everything to be the same. Or, I don't understand, like, why in Maryland I have to wear a helmet, but in Pennsylvania I don't. Because you're in a different sovereign state, you idiot. First thing I brought up to him, well, so you want European standards? Well, I don't care about them. Well, yeah. So you want California standards then? Well, I'm not talking about that. No, you are. You're an idiot. The face you make when the people who want you dead for not taking an experimental medical procedure start begging you to give up your guns. Yeah. Speaking of that, guy's got a beer. I need to re-up. I'm going to drink some more of these later in a glass. I didn't do that because I knew I'd probably nurse it. But this is a mighty tasty seasonal beer. How do I get that in there? Anderson Valley Summer Solstice. Quite nice. It's kind of like a cream soda. It's very, very easy drinking. I haven't had one in a couple years either because they're only in season for a short period of time. Although Anderson Valley might make them more now. I don't know. I don't drink beer like I used to. I'm not the beer snob I once was. Oh, just got that all over my shorts too. Good times. All right. How pro 2A are you? Me. Harrier fighter. 7 million Pepsi points. You guys probably don't remember that. That was like an old 90s commercial or something. Vaguely remember it. Ran across the meme. But yeah, I would get a Harrier in a heartbeat, man. Be awesome. When you're the first cop in the stack to conduct a red flag confiscation at a Vietnam vet's house and you hear Fortunate Son blasting from inside. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be any Vietnam vets, guys. It's they're a little old at this point. But we got a lot of guys that have been in Afghanistan and Iraq. A lot of guys. Government, turn in your guns like a good little subject, me.
Oh? What? I said no. Why not? I don't want to. But I've got a gun. I don't care. Doesn't make any sense. Too bad.
Oh yeah, Matt, you got Schrodinger's AR-15. That's right. Yeah, did that one last week. It gets hard, man. Because I know some of these I've played through before, but I'm like, oh, did I do that? Did I? Yeah, it gets hard. Keeping everything organized. I know I've played that video before, but not recently. America doesn't have a gun control problem. We have a white people problem. Oh, really? Really? Let's talk about that for a minute. Firearms homicide rate per 100,000. Seems like white people are the lowest. Wonder how that works. Interestingly enough, too, back in the 50s, maybe even in the 60s and 70s, many schools used to have rifle teams and students brought guns to school. Nobody shot anybody. Guns aren't the problem. Our society has decayed. That's right. It is our society. It is the mental illness. It is this unnatural synthetic world. It is all the lies that are driving people to this. It is the displacement of folks who, whether true or not, they feel this way. You have to address that. You can't, oh, you're just stupid. You're just dumb. You feel like you're being replaced by immigrants and then the wages are being brought down. Yeah, because that's a reality. Women got brought into the workforce, have the workforce was then doubled, so wages went down. And then in the 70s, well, late 1960s, I believe, early 70s, whenever it was, they changed the immigration law. And guess what? You got a lot of migrant workers coming in. And then you have the unfettered illegal immigration as well. It brings down the wage. This is all on purpose. They can look at the numbers. They know what's going on, folks. And mind you, I'm not that old. I'm 41. And in 1999, when I graduated high school, I could go to the parking lot of the school I attended with 1,000 students plus. I don't know the exact number. I know I graduated with about 200 people. But you got to realize, as a senior, people go to VOTEC, they go to other places, they graduate early, they're in college, whatever. A lot of people drop out of school, but the school in the total had about 1,000 kids in it. And so decent sized parking lot, people who had cars drove to school. Guess what you would see? You would see gun racks with guns on them in the parking lot. It was standard. Standard. 1999. Not that long ago. 20 years. Hagerstown, where I grew up, went to high school, North High. President Trump stopped there back in his first campaign. Maybe in the second he did too. I don't remember. But all the crazy gun-toting right-wingers, they didn't do anything crazy then. It's a relatively peaceful county. Less than 1% of people get locked up out of the 100 and I forget what it is, 150, 160,000 people live in the county. Maybe it's less than that. It's mostly rural. But this is the differences in standards of people in cities who want to be handed everything, don't know how anything works, and just expect it to show up, versus those who live in reality.
We have a gun problem, not a mental health problem,
says the psychopathologized people. They're obviously, by their appearance, crazy, right? And by their behavior, by their excessive emotionalness, by their inability to reason, by their inability to have conversations with you if you reason, such as, like Matt Walsh in the What is a Woman clips. Again, haven't seen the movie yet, so. Oh, crap. Looks like I have a video here that didn't pop up. Excuse me. Get it for you here in a second, guys. Give me a second. Different format doesn't always don't always show up.
The recoil bruised my shoulder. The brass shell casings disoriented me as they flew past my face. The smell of sulfur and destruction made me sick. The explosions, loud like a bomb, gave me a temporary case of PTSD. For at least an hour after firing the gun just a few times, I was anxious and irritable. And in such small portions.
I could slap a hoe. It's my tribe, right? Slap a hoe. No, seriously. Hey, temporary PTSD. You don't know what PTSD is, dude. Don't. Because then you're going to trigger mine and I'm going to slap you. Don't. Anyways. Armed man traveled to Justice Kavanaugh's home to kill him, officials say. The man said he was upset about shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and impending decision on abortion and guns, a federal affidavit says. Again, we don't have a mental health problem, though, right? This guy is upset about not being able to kill babies. Can't kill the babies. I'm going to have to kill somebody so I can kill these babies. Right? Is against guns, but he's willing to use one like the hypocrite he is. Because it's always about rules for thee. Every person I know in my life who's actually a progressive, like I know reasonable progressive, like reasonable in that you can talk to them. They're not reasonable, they're insane, but reasonable in that you could talk to them. They all want guns. They just don't want anyone else having them. Every single one. I know a lot. They want their guns. They live in a fantasy world, folks. It's not the real world. It's the synthetic society. So from old Cernovich, this is how red flag laws will be used from Representative Eric Smallwell. Please tell me this lunatic does not own a gun. Reason 1,578 Americans need red flag laws. Of course, this is in response to Ben Shapiro, warns that if politicians try to mandate LGBTQ indoctrination at all schools, then he will pick up a gun. Further adding, Beto O'Rourke does not get to raise my children. And if he tries, I will meet him at the door with a gun. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, I might not, because I have religious beliefs. But I don't always live up to my religious beliefs. So as much as I practice what I preach, don't put me in that position to choose your life over my child's life. LGBT, liberty, guns, beer, and Trump. Are you all with the cult? It's not a cult. We just believe that January 6th, the sacred halls of democracy were desecrated by the... Yeah, this is it. Yeah. You know who the cult is. It's not the people on the right. Because we're actually diverse for reals. Here we have queer academics suggest pedophilia be taught in schools as an innate sexuality. Color me shocked. It's like every 2-3 months this happens. Imagine in Pride Month, some academic would say pedophilia is normal and okay. Here we have, yes, straight men can and do have sex with trans women with penises. I don't know what your point is here. A man sucking a D sounds straight to you? If it's a woman's D, then yes. Mental illness, folks. This is a person who cannot perceive the truth of reality, or, which is very often the case, or they are a sophist who know the truth and the reality, but they will not admit it because they must pretend for the sake of the cause. And speaking of the calls, it's Pride Month, guys. Time to be proud. Try the Pride Whopper. 2 tops, 2 bottoms. By the way, if you have tops, 2 tops and 2 bottoms, you're not working out that sex thing, right? You need a top and a bottom. Just saying. Just saying. Behold our newest campaign. Tasty. Are you sure this will help us sell more burgers? Burgers? And old Tim Pool. Never thought I'd see how to avoid shitting on a dick while fucking in the ass as a marketing campaign for food delivery. You shouldn't miss a good meal for a good time. That's why this Pride we've teamed up with Dr. Evan Goldstein and Smart Throb to create the world's first bottom-friendly menu. Yup, it's real. Eat with pride. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Whatever. What do I need to say? I was about to comment on butt sex, but I've only had heterosexual butt sex, folks. It's not really something that yeah, I think anyone should do generally, but yeah. What is this? Like I don't know. Do an enema. Do an enema beforehand, right? Maybe. Don't you think gay people know? Wouldn't they know? Wouldn't people, women who enjoy the butt sex, wouldn't they know what to do when they're going to have butt sex? So it's not all gross. Just saying. Anyways. This BS started because of this BS, thanks to this asshole. Happy Pride Month, y'all. Meanwhile, back in the UK, transgender Sussex paramedic says patient refuses to help her. You will never be a woman. Beep. Yeah, that's crazy. I saw this on Crowder the other day, and oh, what's his name? His sidekick, his buddy. I can't think of his name right now. Anyways, he's like, oh yeah, guy looks like Gerard Depardieu, and I'm like, really? Show the picture, and they pulled it up, and I was like, holy cow! And this is what you're getting. It's these people. It's these people. You know, I think I mentioned the Disinfected podcast earlier with Josh Slocum, and I actually was listening to one of his shows the other day. It was an older one. But he was actually reading this letter that was online about this guy obsessing over this female. And like she was like half Asian, Italian, and beautiful and thin, but also had a boobs and butt and so feminine and yada, yada, yada. And he talked about how he hated her because he could never be that. And Josh, a gay man, pointed out quite clearly, this is Buffalo Bill territory. This is what that is. This is some sort of psychopathic, narcissistic fantasy where he wants to be her and can't be. These people are ill. You know, you can tell. Like, you put glasses and a wig on a blobfish, it becomes an angry left-wing activist. That's not a person that has their crap together. Is it true there's now 56 genders? Nope. There's 2 genders and 54 new mental disorders. Meanwhile, study shows kids who are homeschooled could miss out on opportunity to become a gay communist. You don't want to deprive your child of that, do you? What happens at Storytime stays at Storytime. Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. Yeah. That's not kid-friendly, folks. Not kid-friendly at all. It's not going to lick itself. Where's the children? Yeah. I remind you, queer academic suggest pedophilia be taught in schools as an innate sexuality. Unsocialized homeschool kids. Socialized government school kids. Do you know that the root of socialize, that word and where it came from, actually means to make a socialist? Now, that meaning came about a little bit after the word came into usage. But as far as what the word means, it means to make socialist. You can read about this in The Synthetic Society, a book that will be coming soon, because I don't think it's going to take me that long to write, and I'm going to write this thing. I'm going to put it out there, and it's going to be good. And then I'm going to get to the novel. I'm about to reduce my working hours drastically so I can get more stuff done that I want to do. And yeah, one of these sections is going to be on etymology. So etymology is very important because we use words all the time, like woman, and have no clue what they mean, right? People say anyone who believes that they're a woman is a woman, yet can't define what a woman is. So anyone believes that they are nothing is nothing, right? Meanwhile, how was school? And here we have a mother of 2 primary school teacher, 39. Mother of 2, primary school teacher, 39, who molested 2 boy pupils aged 12 and 11, forcing one to perform sex acts over FaceTime. Psalms as she is jailed for 3 years. 3 years. 3 years, folks. This is sick. These are prepubescent, in the midst of puberty, the most confusing time of anyone's life. It's why most people go transgender then, because they're having an identity crisis. In fact, if you look up the psychological literature, that is the period where all people are considered to have an identity crisis. Now, this does not happen universally, cross-culturally, because in some cultures, we provide identities. We build identities. We let people know where they come from, but not in our culture, not in our culture of synthesis, where you must be broken down so that they can rebuild you in their likeness. In all seriousness, I think it's generally adorable young people can make and share stuff like this with each other and try and understand and express their own queerness. Like, I was watching porn on my iPod Touch and taking I'm a gay BuzzFeed quizzes at 3 in the morning. Yeah. Okay. Sure. And then, of course, we have from I'm not going to try and pronounce the name. Katinia County. I did try. Sheriff's Office investigates family-friendly Coeur d'Alene LGBT event. Drag queens' genitals may have been exposed. Ooh, sheriff's now involved. Good. We need to bring standards and decency back. I really enjoy freedom, and frankly, you want to go do crazy stuff as an adult, that's fine, but children need protected. I regret to inform you that yesterday's drag show at the Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin Farmers Market wasn't as family friendly as advertised. And We're going to look at these children's faces just a little bit here. Just a little bit. Notice notice the confusion and disgust on these children's faces. Or how about here? Well, San Francisco has the family-friendly Folsom Street Fair. While I have no problems with such displays in private locales, I do when they are in public spaces and people who want nothing to do with them are forced to be there. Take note of said child's face. Oh, that's already max zoom. Wonder if I can get the... I really don't want to zoom in on the guy's butt, though. But yeah, so we have this. Now, I did notice there was a pushback for some sophists on Twitter with pictures like this, which I also find deplorable. Now, as much as I love attractive women and whatever, I don't like go to Hooters because it's not my thing, really. You know, I've been to Hooters in the past, and I was a different person, especially before I was a Christian. And I don't think putting a little girl in a Hooters outfit is good parenting. But Hooters is not sexualizing children per se, although this might be. They're just wearing kind of skimpy clothing. They're just showing off their beauty, right? I mean, so, but fair enough to the left for actually making a point that was like, oh yeah, they're actually half right on that. But see, what they do is they do stuff like that, and then they use it as an excuse to come in and say, well, see, you agree with me there, therefore I'm right about everything. No, you're not. You're wrong. And here we have little boys, and you know, I was not one of the kind of little boys who wasn't interested in girls. I have always been interested in girls. And to my own chagrin, right? It's lust is a sin that I struggle with, and I don't act out on it, mind you. I have, right? But yeah, I don't think this is, again, super appropriate per se, but it's not the worst. It's really not, because what is the difference between this or these ladies and what women wear on a regular basis? I literally delivered to a lady the other day that basically I couldn't tell if she was just wearing like booty shorts like this and a little tank top thing, but it looked like she was basically in her underwear to me. I mean, you see this out on the street all the time. And then, of course, there was this that was brought up. And again, I don't think that this is... I don't want to raise my children to think that showing their sexuality, especially the girls, is the ideal way to go about themselves. And I don't want the boys to be raised that way either. So, no, I don't really approve of this, but I think it's a lot less harmless than, oh, I don't know, maybe that, or this, or this, or that. But you know, the other thing with this, those are all men. And the girls here, they're not going to be attracted to the other girls. And the boys might be, depending on their age. But that's also why, you know, I don't encourage it, because I don't want my son growing up to be this. Lord, give me the strength not to break the law. I mean, you know, you don't want that either. You know, you don't want the struggle of being a thirsty guy. It's a struggle. Meanwhile, during these Pride parades, Idaho Christians pray for rain in Coeur d'Alene Pride in Park event. And this is reminiscent to me of the story that Marcus Aurelius, some people say it's forged, some people say it isn't, whatever, I don't know. There's a story about Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, talking about how the Christians wouldn't fight, and all they did was pray, and they were surrounded by German tribesmen, they were cut off from supplies. They had no water, and they all thought they were going to die. And the Christians would not fight. They only prayed. And a hailstorm came down upon the Germans, and the rain fell upon the Romans, and they had water, and they survived. Well, guess what happened in Coeur d'Alene? On the 12th, breaking major flooding in Coeur d'Alene, Ohio, as storm drain struggles to handle rainfall. That's because, but whoever should take their kids to a drag show would be better for him to tie a millstone around his neck and yeet himself into the ocean. But you know, folks, there's a bigger agenda going on here, right? I think you all understand that. We have men and women from then, men and women now, and in the future, it's going to go bonkers. I really wish Tank was here for this, but you know, I love talking about transhuman stuff with him because he gets really, really, really upset. From the Nomad Soul, I have nothing against trans people. What I have a problem with is the psychopaths who run our world, poisoning us with sex-disrupting chemicals through vaccines, food, and water, and then passing it off as the consequential gender dysmorphia that ensures as being something to celebrate, or ensues as being something to celebrate, that is. And yes, this isn't necessarily what's causing the problem, and it is causing probably androgyny, testosterone drop off, a lot of stuff. It is weakening us. It's also causing infertility, but it is not necessarily causing that. What is causing it is more of the social contagion and the programming and the indoctrination and the grooming, right? Endocrine disruptors, the offending chemicals are found in pesticides, herbicides, fragrances, healthcare products, birth control pills, plastics, and more. They are hormone disruptors, also referred to as xenoestrogens and endocrine disruptors. It means the body makes these chemicals for testosterone or estrogen. This atrazine herbicide, however, actually converts testosterone into estrogen, even chemically castrating and feminizing male frogs. It's commonly found in municipal waters. They're turning the frogs gay. Yeah, it's real. That's real. Atrazine in the water is real. All of this stuff is real. Plastics, especially when exposed to heat and acid, nail polish removers, detergent and fabric softeners, perfumes and fragrances. You know, I use mostly all natural kind of stuff. It costs more, but it's better for my health in the long run. You know, I need to be around. Yeah. Rile them up. Meanwhile, though, you know, Marlboro adds puberty blockers to cigarettes to make them legal for kids. Yeah. This is all the stuff going on, folks. In its original context, Baphomet is meant to symbolize the mind of the completed man and harmony of opposites. The goat's head represents Aries, balancing masculine and feminine aspects mentally. Through their inversion, what they've done is redefine the Baphomet into symbolizing the completed man carrying masculine and feminine in the body, that in the spirit. And that is, it's the androgyny. This is what their goal is. So over here are the original alchemic representations, right? That's where all this comes from. You guys have to study the occult for a really long time. There's a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to go into their etymology because it might be wrong, whatever. It's a meme, but you get the thing, right? Now let's hear from the masters of all of this, all the planning, or at least the frontmen right now, not the Patriot frontmen, just the frontmen.
Sitting here, we have an implant in our brains And I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your arm.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over. That's over. Over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, I mean, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
You always have a choice. Always. A crisis is just a manipulation of your fear. And that is psychopathic behavior. Oh, we're going to manipulate you. See how easy he says that and justifies that? We're going to manipulate you. They're more easily manipulated because there's a crisis. Yeah. Davos, WEF Man, 2025, 2030. Coming soon to a theater near you. Oh, yeah. Modern Male Starter Pack, Summer 2022. Avoids meat. Always watching news. Snacks every 2 hours. There's that cornmeal you're going to be missing out on with ethanol. Hand sanitizer, always handy. Low vitamin D and testosterone. Vitamin D is not even a vitamin. It's a hormone. It's a chemical reaction your body makes. Now, you can get it separately, but your body doesn't process it as well, generally, from external sources. But it's a chemical reaction your body makes from sunlight exposure, and it is a key component to over 1,000 processes in your body. So if you're deficient in it, things aren't going to work too well for you. Green juice for health. Afraid of sun. Also not good for you. You can look into that on your own. Or you can just avoid polyunsaturated fats. And, from my understanding, that will prevent you from burning. It takes a while to get that out of your system, though, from my understanding. Medication organizer, still masking outdoors. Yep.
Wow, so progressive. Look at all the plants on the building.
Sustainable living.
Flyover state.
Sustainable living. I'll remain in the flyover. What a horrible polluting environment. Yeah, cows and sheep and birds, they're farting. They're farting. Ah, that's better. It's a complete psychosis, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe 100% that society will collapse from climate change within 20 years. That's why my life plan is live in a big city, specialize in white collar or artistic work, and cultivate zero practical skills.
Do you see the disconnect? These people are going to be in for a rude awakening. A very rude awakening. From iHypocrite, which, if you didn't know, is a YouTube channel. Does good stuff. Good stuff. Don't watch him that often, but like his stuff. Fun piece of trivia. Calhoun worked for the U.S. National Institute of Mental Health, and his experiments inspired the wonderful series, The Secret of NIM. And I believe it's been a long time since I've watched The Secret of NIM. If you haven't seen it, you guys should watch it. It's actually a really great movie. It's actually one of the great animated movies that Disney didn't do from the 80s. And it's basically about experimenting on animals and stuff. And I believe Calhoun is the name that they throw around a lot in the movie for the scientists that the animals are looking for. So, and in any case, here we have what, again, we keep pushing towards. California politicians inspired by a recent UC Berkeley white paper are mulling over a new proposal that would make the denial of science an infringement of religious freedom. Rejection of basic tenets such as evolution and Big Bang could, in specific circumstances, be classified as a form of prejudice, intolerance, or abuse. They are admitting that they are part of a religion here, folks. How do you say that science denial is religious denial? Religious freedom, right? It infringes on it. Science has been a religion all this time. Yes, there's science, the process, and then there's science, the religion, or better known as scientism. Scientism is the world we live in, ran by technocrats who mostly are idiots or have their own plans, right? You want to tell me that Joe Biden's a smart guy and Hunter's a great smart guy. I mean, I don't believe you. But they're good enough to weasel their way in and then get, people around them that can be semi-competent, I suppose. Imagine if competent people actually ran things. Let you be most of the time, got stuff done, kept your taxes low, provided infrastructure on the regular and stuff like that, stuff that people expect from the government. I don't know. When I see an apple, I think to myself, are the people who run the world in a satanic pedophile ring? And you know what? I think they are. I think that they are. Crazy idea. Let's divide a country into half capitalist and half communist and check on it in 70 years. Let's see what happens. Yeah. We don't need to run this experiment another time, guys. We know the results. But we're going to keep doing it. And big smiles for everyone. Going to keep doing it. I will end world hunger by killing all the hungry people. You sure will. Speaking of which, we have old Justin Bieber in the news. I normally wouldn't ever talk about Justin Bieber, but it reveals he has Ramsay Hunt syndrome and his face is partially paralyzed. Oh, yeah. Get that sniff in. Yeah. Just amazing, right? Amazing. Every single government of the westernized world in 2022. I love you. Yeah. World Health Organization. Is it time for compulsory vaccination and enforcement quarantine for those who refuse? No. No, it's not. 28,000 people say no. And here we have, of course, Justin Trudeau. I tested positive for COVID-19. I'll be following public health guidance or guidelines and isolating. I feel okay, but that's because I got my shots. So if you haven't, get vaccinated. And if you can, get boosted. Let's protect our healthcare system, each other, and ourselves. And of course, below it says, I am fully vaccinated and boosted and just tested positive for COVID-19. I am grateful for the protection my vaccine continues to provide. Justin was just had COVID, remember? Funny how that happens. Funny how that works. I used to think anti-vaxxers were eccentric loons. After the last 2 years, I now wholeheartedly concur with them. There is zero chance of my child having any of these vaccines from now on. This has ripped the scab off the vaccine industry and revealed what lies beneath. What lies beneath? Sudden adult death syndrome. Young, healthy people are mysteriously dying. We don't know why. Who could imagine that such a thing could happen? Well, here, let's hear a news report from this.
Insurance companies have reported an overwhelming and unexplainable increase in all-cause deaths among 18 to 49-year-olds. Along with that, there's also been an increase in certain medical diagnoses, such as miscarriages and Bell's palsy. Here to give us her take on the new data and what she believes could be causing the rise in numbers is emergency medicine and disaster specialist, Dr. Kelly Victory. Dr. Victory, good morning. Great to talk to you as always.
Good morning, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we want to make sure that anytime we talk, we want to make sure the information that we have is accurate. So let's start this interview by telling us, I've seen your correspondence here. What is the source of the information that you're about to present?
Well, this information became available to me or on my radar last week following a hearing with Senator Ron Johnson.
This is news from February, folks, just so you know. February.
Who is looking at sort of what he calls a second opinion on the entire response to the COVID pandemic. The medical data was released by 3 career military physicians who got the information from the military database that collects what we call ICD codes, which are the diagnosis codes. And these physicians had a feeling, they believed based on their own observation, that they were seeing a significant uptick in certain conditions. So they actually went back and culled the database from the military on certain conditions over a 5-year period from 2016 through 2020, notably containing 1 year, 2020, of the full-blown pandemic. So they looked at 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20 at the prevalence of certain conditions, including things like heart attack, blood clots to the lung, miscarriages, those sorts of things. And they compared it to the incidence of those same things in the calendar year 2021 and saw an alarming increase in certain things. For example, they saw a 270% increase in myocardial infarction in 2021, a 300% increase in incidence of Bell's palsy and of certain neurologic complaints, a 470% increase in pulmonary embolisms, blood clots to the lungs, and many, many other huge increases that they found alarming.
Military data, military doctors. Yeah. Means they have a large database to collect from, guys. And the military keeps pretty good records, generally. It's when you get to the VA you have the issues. But here's the elephant in the room, right? Those who aren't vaxxed aren't dying, and they weren't. They weren't before. I mean, not saying that people who weren't vaxxed didn't die. That's not the point. It was that there was no, if you looked at the numbers, despite what the media was saying at the time, many media sources, places even like The Hill, which I generally find kind of balanced, kind of fair, although they sucked with Trump and all that, but whatever. They said this stuff. I remember Robbie Suave saying it numerous times. Like, dude, that's not what the data says. I don't know where they're getting their data from, but I just go straight to the data, right? I've done many streams on All Minus One where we've just looked at data. Yeah. And then we told them there's a new thing called sudden adult death syndrome, where young people's hearts just stop for no reason. All I know is it's going to suck when things get real bad because when the shortages come and you can't eat your neighbors because they're all full of spike proteins. It's hope you get your food from somewhere else. Alex Jones might want to rethink his statements. But guys, this isn't the end of the world. This is the end of the illusion of what's going on. And so it's up to us to get out of that and then to make our own families and our own lives and our own whatever. And, you know, people think that the perfect woman doesn't exist. They think that they can't find women these days, but you know what? They do exist. They are out there, and you will find one if you really want to go start a life away from the synthetic society. And you've got to remember that black markets are free markets. Black markets are free markets, folks. They're the freest markets there are. And I love being an American. I'm ashamed of America. It's an oppressive nation. That call me as lucky we weren't in a helicopter. That's what you need to do. I came to that, like, I've dated both conservative and much of dating I did for, I don't know what, 8 years after my my ex-wife. Um, Dated both conservative and liberal women, leftist women even. Conservative women, go with them. Even if they don't believe everything you like, just go with them. The leftist women, you're gonna have a hard time with. I'm telling you. You have a very hard time with, because they're going to believe in all the leftist indoctrination. They're going to believe that they're empowered. They're going to believe that you're useless as a man. They're going to believe in a lot of stuff. So choose wisely. Don't jump in. Don't get in over your head. Right? I mean, I'm okay with like getting married fast and stuff, but I mean, don't just jump in. Don't just, weigh it out. And guys, remember, if she can push a stroller, she can push a mower. Stay woke, boys. Stay woke. That's got to be in Florida. It looks like Florida. But guys, you be the glitch you wish to see in the Matrix. Don't wait for anyone else. Don't rely on anyone else. Do these things yourself. Take action. Don't just be someone watching a YouTube channel and complaining on the internet, right? Do more. Do something that you think will make changes. Even if it's small, if it's imperceivable to you, you don't know what your impact will be in the future. And need I remind you that creating the Joker in 1989 was throwing him into a toxic waste vat. And creating him in 2019 was throwing him into society. That's how bad things are. That made perfect sense. That we could do a callback to the 1970s when crime was really bad and inflation was really bad and gas was really bad, and put out this great movie about someone who was left on the fringes of society to be mentally ill. And what did we see in the Joker? We saw all the BLM type rioters in the streets and everything else, right? The Antifa rioters supporting him, supporting the chaos and the overthrow of the society. And if you didn't know, the human brain is a very sophisticated organ. It works day and night from the moment you are born until you turn off the news, or until you turn on the news, that is. What you need to do is fix everything, just like little Susie did here. Pick and choose what you watch. Be careful. Guard your soul. Read more. For me, I have things on in the background, so I know what's going on. But I listen to a wide variety of things, but mostly I listen to a few people who I believe are being truthful, that I can trust. And what we're seeing, what's happening, and a lot of those people that I do trust, is a growing of those who are woken, right? Not woke, but woken from the slumber of the synthetic society. And Republicans be like, join me and together we can destroy the far left. And classical liberals like myself are like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. I mean, it's happening. Disaffected liberals, all kinds of folks are coming over. They're realizing the nonsense. And we might actually have a chance to maybe not reverse things, but at least pull them back quite a bit, slow it down. Because trust me, the empire will strike back. But guys, I'm about to get out of here, so I'm going to leave you with two things.
I was horribly wrong. Jesus is real, and he died for our sins.
That's right, Rick. You were wrong. And lastly, just for fun. Girl dream. I had a dream and you dreamed on me. Come on. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, let's we dropped in viewership. That's all right. Long stream today. I figured that was going to happen. Also started late. Thanks guys for showing up. I will be back, I hope, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right? As usual. I'm not going to make any guarantees right now. I hopefully have fixed some things, but yeah, we're gonna hope that starting in July, the streaming will be very consistent on both channels, and some other things will be getting done because I'm quite annoyed and frustrated with basically being thrown things that are preventing me from doing what I wish to do. So in any case, guys, I should be back Sunday, 3 p.m. on All Minus One. I already have a stream planned, so we're just going to go with that. I might just have more material to it. It'll probably be a long one, probably be 3, maybe 4 hours, because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about that's happened. And I had to take a week off for travel, and then, like I said, things happen. So anyways, hope to see you all there. Please, guys, hit the like button, sub if you enjoyed the show and you're not subbed, all that good stuff. This has been the Ends Justify the Memes. And remember, guys, the ends always justify those memes.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. Macho Madness, yeah, it's got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something right now.